Hello everyone, welcome back to When Saturdays Come With Me, Dry Bry. So, how are you after the fallout over the weekend from the big defeat against Bristol City 4-1? Tough one to take, wasn't it? I've watched it back a few times and it don't get any easier at all to watch it. The mistakes are there for everybody to see, and it was shocking to watch. But Ruben Sayers, to be fair to him, to a point, he's taking responsibility for that, and he should do. But I think the players have got to take some responsibility as well. He was saying, he's got to make sure that the players understand what they're supposed to be doing during game. In transition, picking up the second ball, playing in front of back four, and all the stuff like that. But what my argument with that is, what were the instructions before the game? Were we just focused on us getting forward and forgetting what our defensive duties are? Because there were nobody, it were like kamikaze football, weren't it, going forward and just leaving gaps at back. Even though, the elementary mistakes from R&D and all them, it's very, very poor. I mean, not closing players down, not picking up the second ball, that's just normal schoolboy football to do that. You learn that. So to me, as much as they're taking responsibility for it, I just can't get my head round at times. What do they actually discuss in the training prior up to the game? All those things he's saying after the game should have been talked about and messaged through to the players before the game to make sure that they understand and got the message. So what has the pre-season been about then? If that's the case, in my humble opinion, they played 4 or 5 pre-season games to get themselves fit. That's what they generally use for match fitness, but tactically as well. And none of it, to me, it seems to transist onto the pitch on Saturday when it matters against Bristol City. So what they've been doing, what did they do in training this week or last week leading up to the match against Bristol City? They were very blasé, to say the least. I mean, it were poor. There were periods, I admit. I'm not going to come on here and overreact and say it was all bad. Most of it was. There were periods in first half where we showed some great football at times, especially from Louis Barry out on left, and we had a couple of chances and all that, but they were few and far between, and the last 5 or 10 minutes when their keeper pulled off a couple of good saves. But there's still no excuse for that performance. Haymill was shocking. Where's that? That must be the worst performance I've seen him play since he come into the club. I mean, he's supposed to be playing him a new role as a number 10. But does that mean there's too much with Hoare and Aimer playing and Peck playing? Does one of them have to drop out and bring Samari in? They're too similar. Or has Aimer got to go back out on left? They've obviously got to work something out on that. Brooks is not a right winger, by the way. I'll say that. He's been playing out on right. And I will touch on Brooksy again because I think that's just important. And I said before in pre, I was hoping he were going to have some serious consistency to his game. Brooks is a good footballer, make no mistake about that, but that's where he lacks. I know he's a youngish lad, but he's got the experience now. He's played enough games to put together consistent, good performances. Because if he doesn't, he'll be gone. It's as simple as that. There's no... You can't. How many chances do you give somebody to play? If he's not going to be a right winger, where else do you play him? Do you play him on left? Because he was playing like on the left hand side of midfield a couple of seasons ago, and Wilder put him out on right. So question mark still for me on Brooksy. If we bring another winger in, I'm afraid he'll not be inside because he'll be benched, and it could be simple as that, or get a loan out somewhere because clearly he's not. I'm not picking him out as a one. They were all as bad. I'm not just picking Brooksy out as a scapegoat or anything like that. You can pick them all out. I mean, only 2 people I'm going to give any credit to on Saturday what? Hoare and Campbell. No, nobody else. Everybody else were extremely poor. Tyler Binden, I was disappointed with him. He went under the radar a little bit in pre-season, but he looked out. He looked out of sorts on Saturday, as they all were. Rumours this morning about QPR coming in for R&D. Fine by me. I ain't got a problem with that. And if Jack goes to Wrexham, fine by me. I ain't got a problem with that either. But it just leaves us no defence whatsoever. We've got Sassanoukas to come in. He's certainly going to be, I would imagine he'll be playing at Birmingham on Wednesday, which I'll come on to in a minute. But this fallout is going to drift down to the board, and the board have got to be looking at it and saying, yeah, okay, we need to invest. You say, as we're saying that, he can have part of that money from the transfer fund, which he's got from Sousa, Moore and Anel. But he don't need some of it, he needs all of it, because we need quality in. We don't need quantity, we need quality, experienced players who played at championship or above level, who can come and slot in almost straight away and start playing. Because as I'm looking at it right now, we've got Birmingham on Wednesday, which is a good opportunity in Carabao Cup to put the squad players in, like Sassanoukas, Owen Hampson, Samare. I'm assuming Davies will play in goal instead of. I don't know who's going to bring in, who he's not, but I'm guessing that he will play a lot of the players who didn't play on Saturday against Birmingham on Wednesday, which is not going to be an easy game, by the way, because they are flying a little bit, aren't they? They got a good draw against Ipswich on Friday night, 1-1. So there'll be going to be no mugs at Birmingham. They'll want to go through. They'll want to progress. But I think it's good for us as well. We need to progress, because these extra games will do good for squad and the new players what are coming in, instead of just throwing them in. So there's a lot of work to be done in next couple of weeks. I think we have to be. I suppose we have to be a little bit patient as a fan base. Again, we've got a league game on Saturday at Swansea. It can't be any worse than it did on against Bristol City, surely. But again, it's going to be, can we bring in a couple of players before the weekend? I guess there'll be work going on furiously behind the scenes now because of the outgoings and the potential outgoings. There's lots of names being bandied around on the transfer front, like, Callum Doyle, Charlie Hughes, Zata Strom, Chris Mapham. All these names are being banded about a bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of them names do come in. I hope they do. They add a bit of quality, without doubt. But at the end of the day, it's how much these owners want to prepared to spend. And we don't spend anything really at all. We recruited a lot. The spine of the side's been sold off. We're very weak. It'll not take long for the confidence to drop if the board don't start backing manager. I'm not going to throw him under a bus after one game. It's just you can't be doing that. I think I'm going to give him at least 10 games to see where we are. I think we've got to be given an opportunity. We've got to get behind him. Fans have got to get. It's easy to criticise, and I know they deserved it on Saturday. We all know that, but you've got to give him a bit of leeway until we've got the full squad that he needs to move forward, which we're nowhere near. We well undercooked at the minute, without any doubt whatsoever. It reminds me when we went into Prem that season, when we were totally undercooked in Prem, weren't we? And when we got relegated, it's a bit similar to that. And we sold off good assets, and we've not been replaced them with anybody. So let's hope the board get their finger out, get their hands in the pocket, and start, looking for these players. I know they've talked a lot about AI and all that. It's a tool to use to find all these players and all the rest of it. But, needs must at minute. I think it's not rocket science to see where we are and who we need and what we want. I think we're well stocked in midfield now. I don't think we need anybody else. We definitely need another winger to play it out right. So we'll see who comes in. It's going to be an interesting week. Birmingham are managed now by Clark Davis, I think it is, isn't he? I think he had a little spell at Tottenham and stuff like that. His youth career were at Reading. He's had an interesting work with Brendan Rodgers and Roberto Martinez. I've been doing a bit of research. He's worked with them for a little bit. Quite a few players have come in. Damari Gray, Bright Osai, Samuel from Fenerbahce, Kyojo Furuhachi, I can't even pronounce that name, from Rennes, undisclosed, but they reckon he were about £9 million. Taylor Gardner, England from Bristol City, he's come in for £1.5 million. And one or two others. Loan players have come in, has been Doyle, Beadle and Cashin. They've all come in on loan. So they've got a fairly good experienced squad coming up from League One. I imagine they'll do quite well in Champs. I think they'll be there or thereabouts. Wrexham will do well this season. They'll be top 10, I would imagine, something like that. But I'm not overly worried about them teams at minute. I'm just more worried about where we're going to be in 2 or 3 weeks' time. And hopefully we're going to have a settled squad when the window shuts. But again, it makes you wonder, what have we been doing in these past few weeks leading up to the start of the season? I think the board, they've not thrown Sayers under a bus or anything like that. I think they've been very, very slow in recruitment. The Enel deal was done pretty quickly, that's for sure. Obviously, Moore wanted to go to Wrexham. They come in with a decent offer, which were fair enough. And Enel was always going to go anyway. And I think we got a good deal out of Enel. Got in a good fee for him before end of the season. But it's just left us very, very short, and it's disappointing. So I'm looking forward to game on Wednesday, I think. I'm not sure. Do I really looking for? I don't know whether I am or not at the minute. I think it's just thrown me, that game on Saturday. But it's on live on Sky anyway, I think, so we'll be able to watch it and see how we get on. I'm sure there'll be changes, unless he wants to keep the same team out there, and put things right after Saturday. Get the message across what he wants them to do. I hope he has. I hope it sinks in, and let's just see where we go. See where we're going. God, it's been a disappointing start. Well, let's keep our chins up. Let's hope we can build. It can't get any worse, can it? After Saturday, it's got to get better after Saturday. And if we rock up on Wednesday and put in a good performance, then fair enough. But if we get battered again, there's going to be some serious questions, isn't there? So let's just wait and see. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, and look forward to the game on Wednesday. If anything happens on the transfer front, I'll come on and let you know as soon as I can. And any presses from Ruby Sayers and anybody from Birmingham as well, we'll get them on as well and hear what they've got to say. Thank you for everybody for your support after the Bristol City game with the video. Lots of people put their comments in. Thank you very much for your likes and your subscribes. It's going great. Thank you very much for helping the channel go forward. And I'll look forward to speaking to you soon with any updates that I can bring you in the next couple of days. Over the blades. Speak to you soon.